It is Ironman 70.3 Texas race day, and unlike the last 8 times I've been to Ironman 70.3 Texas, this year I am not among the participants, but equally excited to be spectating an incredibly stacked pro field and to also see the age groupers out enjoying the opportunity to get back to racing and start making that move toward normal.
Our last experience in Galveston 70.3 was 2019. And if you were there in 2019, you just know.
It was epic. It was actually the precursor to 2020. It was like the prequel to the year that was 2020.
2019, a horrific line of thunderstorms rolled through at the end of the bike, start of the run, depending on where you were. And they let us run through this for a good little bit, but I'm telling you, the winds got crazy, things were blowing everywhere, fencing was coming down, and eventually they called the race. I had 4 miles left on the run, so close to the finish line. Man, memories. You gotta take a picture of the finish line. We took that. There may not have been a timing clock at the finish line because that thing got blown down. Transition was just a mess. There was the bike racks, the whole racks had just fallen over, bikes on the ground.
We had to go to a little lengths to find each other on the course. Fortunately, Caitlin had her phone in her little pack, and because we were separated and I was able to call her using a stranger's phone, and she directed me to the parking garage where she was taking shelter with about 500 other people. So I went and found her, we huddled up and basically just called it a day like everybody else. That was our last experience at Galveston. We may not go back and race Galveston again because we have done it so many times. We might. It is kind of a course that's suited for our style of racing, but there's so many other great locations that we want to experience, so we'll see, maybe sometime soon down the road. But we are excited about what is going to transpire on race day, which on the release of this video is today, but we are making our predictions. This is the night before. We are making our predictions for the pro race, and I tell you, this was like studying for an exam because
it really was.
Legit, the field on both sides, men and women, is stacked, and it is the first race of the season aside from Miami, but even Miami didn't have the depth of the field that's there now, and of course it was a different type of course. So we had to take a lot of factors into consideration and come up with our top 3 women and top 3 men. So Caitlin, you can take it away. She's got her cheat notes too.
Taking the top spot for female, I've got Sky Minch. Second place. If Heather Jackson can put together her swim bike run, I think she's got the second place. But if her day is off, I'm putting Kim Morrison at my second place. Third place, Jeanni Metzler. But also, I do got some asterisks here. Jackie Herring and Sarah Crowley. I mean, you can't not mention them either, because in their own right, each of them could take the first spot. Look, any of these 5 could take the first spot, honestly.
I think Jackie Herring has just been trending upward. She had a really good race at Miami, and that was about a month ago, so I feel like she's gonna do it. She's done Galveston before. She's got experience and knowledge of the course, so we'll see how she comes away with it. Second place, I've got Jeanni Metzler. I think she's just a contender anytime she toes the line at a 70.3. And, like Caitlin said, she could be on top of the podium. Who knows?
I think she took the top spot in 2019.
Yeah,
did she?
Yeah, she did win in 2019. And then in third place, I've got the Brit, Kimberly Morrison. It seems like you cannot put a podium together if there's a Brit in the field and not put a Brit on the podium. So I think she'll probably definitely be one to watch on race day.
I think the bike really suits her too, fast and flat.
The women to watch, Sarah Crowley, she's been kind of inconsistent or not really performing to her standards. She's great at Kona, she's great at the end of the year, so I'm not quite convinced she's ready for an early season race, especially coming off of Miami's performance. Sky Minch, like you said, she's also been rising. She's been involved in some races, so she's been out there and she's going to be solid on the bike as well. And then Heather Jackson, she's kind of a wild card. I haven't seen that she's had the best fitness at Daytona and Miami, but again, those courses are completely different. The demand is different as well, and it's been a while since Daytona, so who knows, maybe the work has been adding up and she might come compete and slip in there for a podium spot. So nonetheless, it will be exciting to see them throw down and put the efforts forth.
All right, for the men, top spot, Lionel. I mean, he's a beast. He talks, but he also puts up too, so I got him there. And then second and third, fourth, fifth, I mean, I don't know, it could go anyway, but what I have is I've got Matt Hansen in second, Magnus Ditlev in third, and then my asterisks, fourth and fifth, could go anyway. Sam Long, Ben Canute, Joe Skipper. I mean,
yeah, this
we'll
men's
see.
field is incredible.
Stacked.
Very, very
Impressive.
exciting. And I think really where it's going to come down to is like who is in the early season fitness, who really got through lockdown and not racing for an entire season for the most part. I know that there have been some races, but across the big scale, there haven't been a lot of deep fields to contend with. So for the men, I absolutely have Lionel, like I said in a vlog earlier this week, in a 70.3. If Jan isn't there, he is probably impossible to beat. If anybody can ride the time trial position and put out the watts, it's going to be Lionel. So I think maybe his big key is if he's close enough on the swim where he doesn't have to overbike. But I still think he's going to win comfortably. Second place, Matt Hansen. He loves racing in Texas. He's got a track record of success at Galveston. And if you saw what he did in Daytona with that run, you can't bet against him. He didn't have the best Miami, but I'm just going to scratch that as an anomaly, and he's going to have a good Galveston. And then third, going to go with Magnus Ditlev. I don't know too much about him, but I feel like he'll have a strong bike, and he's
been
just going to be
hearing his
tough.
name a lot lately come up.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it. Even I think Lionel has been referencing Ditlev. So, I want to put Sam Long on the podium. I really want to see Sam and Lionel, duking it out, and I hope that's what happens. I hope it comes down to them at 1 and 2. That'll be really fun. I think their rivalry is fun for the sport, and I think it's going to be great for professional triathlon while Sam continues to rise up the ranks and Lionel continues to just, figure out who Lionel is. Joe Skipper, I think he's also an interesting choice. He's had a couple of rough races. The last 2 races he's done have been DNFs, but the weather conditions have been completely different. A really cold swim, and then his last 70.3, I think there was rumors of a lot of drafting, and he really had to struggle on the bike to try to keep up and just DNF'd there. And of course, Ben Canute, he is the defending champion from 2019. He's got his eyes set on the Olympics, but he's never backed down from a 70.3 challenge. Again, it's really hard to pick with any type of confidence the top 3, where there's like 8 or 10 that could legitimately be standing on the podium by the end of the day.
So on one hand, I wish that we were racing. On the other hand, since we're not, we're gonna be able to see this race go down, and it's just exciting. I can't wait for it.
We're of course also going to have some video of this in next week's episode. We are going to recap our experience race day and what is it really like with the return to racing. Ironman 70.3 Texas, it's race day, and we will catch you next week with the rundown of how it goes. And we'll also check in on our picks and see if we got close or if we have no idea what we're talking about. So thanks for watching. We will see you back next week. And if anybody raced Galveston, let us know how you did and what you thought of the experience in the comments below. And we'll see you next week.